I mean, it'd be silly to. This is your order service, and you got 2 hymnals here just in case you need any. I'm looking over the order of service now. I was going to get Cassandra to do this. Okay. Cassandra. 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 In the speakers, or in his bag over here.
Okay, where's the one that we're adding? This one here?
Yeah. Need that cable for the fish one.
We'll need a.
They're going to be monitored.
We can. This can be wherever you want it to be. It'll be just for your guitar.
Yeah.
Okay. This will come out of that one. So as long as it doesn't make you guys weird to have them switch like that.
You should probably switch, if you don't mind.
Okay. Yeah, that's easy to do.
Just take this out.
Actually, just take out what cable you're putting. And let's see, do you have a spare XLR in your stuff, or should I go grab one?
Yeah, no, I have a gearbox, but not today.
Oh, this one actually has 2 inputs. We can feed you both through that.
Okay.
Should we do that and not just sacrifice it alone?
Okay.
Let's see, I'll just need the power cord. I'll just grab the power cord off of yours. Just for now. In interest of time.
You need a power cord for the Fishman there?
I just stole those.
I have one.
So, oh, you got it. Well,
You need one for those, I think, right?
we're just going to feed you both through this because it's got 2 channels.
Okay, sure, we got that. It's a 65 watts per channel. It's a beast of a guy. 25 pounds of power per. Yep, that's the.
Well, and it's just for you guys, so it doesn't even need to be that loud.
Yep.
Twiddling all your tone controls, just gonna match them up. You guys can do whatever you need to with that. We got power there. So we'll be using that channel for that channel. You shouldn't be
the sound check for this morning with you just done with the chair in the exact
Hello.
place.
Okay. Maybe a little more headroom for me.
Yeah, the vocal, it comes through the mains, but it doesn't come through here.
No, I hear it through the room. I've sung this room before. I remember we used to do all this stuff on stage here with the mics.
Yeah.
So I know how it sounds in the room.
Sing along for it.
Hello. Yeah, okay.
What? Can we sing without the mask? Oh gosh, thank you. That's great.
We're just gonna do it, yeah. I mean, they take it off when they're talking to people.
Yeah, that's true, yeah. Okay, wonderful. I was just thinking we were gonna have to sing through those.
Sounds good.
Yeah, it's quite spectacular. Actually. I don't know. Yeah, that one.
That was the one that was here already.
I guess Brian left that, right?
Yeah.
All right.
So I guess we can.
Fantastic. Thank you. Like quick sentence. We're ready, bud. That's you minister. Couple decades. Yeah, environmental law. So I didn't say anything about it. I didn't go to his, he's got some kind of Facebook page or something. Yeah, interesting man. I listened to that song again. Oh my goodness, Bo, it's just, I mean, it just brings tears to my eyes. It's just powerful, good stuff.
So, the thing to look at now, I'd like to get Sandy over here. All right.
And without breakfast, without his, this is my breakfast, I come from coffee.
Oh, that's no good.
Well, as I say, I had a rough night, so I think I'm modified. This morning, I get up at 4:30 in the morning.
And
I'm
you,
back at 5, and I said, well, let's try to sleep to 8, and I surprisingly did. I expected to have a light, whatever, would wake me up in like an hour or something, but no. I said, all right, better get moving here.
hey, Bo. Hi, Bert.
Oh, you're amplified, yes.
I'm everywhere. Well, I guess I better put the mask back on.
Drink those services really coming up.
You can, I mean, you can have your water.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it on. All right, let's see what the order is.
So, the first hymnal thing is right there, 188. That's the round.
So anyway, so we start with the prelude, which is going to be a weighted solo.
Yeah.
Okay. Hymn 188 is going to be
Come, come wherever you are. Whoever.
that's the first one.
Whoever you are. Yeah. That's the first one. So,
So we'll do the My Life is True. Hymn 1019 is going to be
that is probably everything possible. Pretty sure. Yep, everything possible. And then,
offertory is going to be Love Your Neighbor.
right.
Hymn 170 by process of elimination is going to be Singing for Our Lives. Possibly will be
Yeah.
right.
Okay.
Oh, all these stairs though. One thing about this church, too many stairs.
Oh yeah, joys and sorrows in my life, if you didn't already say that.
I'm sorry, what?
Joys and sorrows in my life, if you didn't already say that. Okay. Love your neighbor. Well, they got their AC working, so I hope they got their AC working, so that's a great thing. The church.
Oh, was it?
It was not working until just a couple days ago.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah.
That would be a heck of a thing to go out at the last minute. But that's
Yeah.
often when it goes, you know.
It had been out for weeks,
Oh,
and they were having trouble getting people coming in and stuff.
okay.
Let's see, Singing for Our Lives. That comes after Joys and Sorrows. Oh, wait, after Everything Possible. Hi, Carolyn. Hey, Frank. So, Sandy, have you put everything in
No, I
order?
haven't, because I didn't have something. I didn't know what, because it just says kindred spirit.
I know. So first we'll have, I've waited so long.
Okay. I've waited so long.
Well, I'm glad we're getting to do it. It's wonderful. Me and you. Sandy.
Where is it? Where is it? Wow, I'm so hot.
Spirit. It's gonna be,
Wow, I can't find it. I am so hot.
well, it's
God.
air conditioned in here now.
Yeah, but I'm just hot, just from walking across.
There it is.
There it is. Oh my God, hot. I need a fan.
Okay. Oh.
God damn. I hate being so hot.
I'm hot too, and but I'm
Okay.
sure it'll be cool. You'll feel cool enough
Okay.
by the time we start, or whenever that door closes over there. But I'm feeling lots of nice cool air coming on me. Can you feel it?
Oh
too?
yeah, yeah, it's coming, and my body's just so heated up. I can't even. It's so weird when something's important. I like lose things. Things aren't normal. You know?
Okay,
Like,
yeah.
where's my fan? I had it earlier.
Your fan?
Yeah. Yes, a fan.
I don't know.
I mean, I had it.
Okay.
I had it in the car. In the car, I had it, but I didn't. I maybe set it aside. Yes.
Charlene? It's Charlene.
Oh my gosh! Hi.
Yeah, it's been so long.
Hey.
Great. Nice to see you.
God damn it. Sweating, sweating, sweating. Hot, hot, hot.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
All right. feel comfortable about what I'm doing.
How you doing, Kai?
I had kind of a rough night, Sandy, but I'm here. We managed to get here. We pulled it all together in time.
All right.
Happy about that.
Couldn't sleep or pain?
Well, I was up at 4:30 dealing with some stuff, you know. My bag world related, you know. Averting, you know, pissy puddles in my head. You know, I just got up and had to change my equipment, and yeah, so. Hi, Georgia.
Hi, Georgia.
Yeah, we'll do this today. So good to see you. We're here. We're still here.
We're going to liven things up a little bit.
You didn't recognize him?
She recognized it.
Yeah. Where was it? It was on the table.
I can understand that. And right when I want a piece of information, whether it's a name or whatever, it's like, wow, suddenly something I've done all my life is like, what was that? You mean with that video thing, that play? Well, he hasn't done anything with that for months now. Oh yeah, nobody minds anything you've said or done. Not to my knowledge. He can't hear. supposed to go. We got to start.
Good morning, and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Tucson. For those of you I don't know, my name is Reverend Bethany Russell Lowe, and I have the great pleasure and honor of serving this congregation. Our community is striving to be as varied as the blooms of the Sonoran Desert. Whoever you are, whoever you have been, and whoever you are in the pathway to becoming, I invite you to bring your full self here and now. We are a covenantal community, which means that we make agreements with one another about how we are when we are together. And as you've heard from me, if you've been here before, wearing masks unless you're speaking from this pulpit, practicing some degree of social distancing, and getting vaccinated are all part of our covenant with each other. So our hope, if you are here with us this morning, if you are able to be vaccinated medically, that you are vaccinated. And if you are choosing to not be vaccinated for a non-medical reason, we invite you to join us online on Zoom, on YouTube next week. I extend a special welcome to any visitors and invite you to fill out a guest information card. If you're joining us on YouTube, Mary Weiss, our administrator, will post a link in the chat right now. If you're here in person, there will be clipboards with yellow paper in Goddard Hall, which is just kitty corner across the patio after worship and our fellowship hour. We will have that fellowship hour right after service, and there is lunch today. I'm told there are Cobb salads, which are customizable. You can make them vegetarian, vegan, whatever your preferences are. We're asking for a $5 donation if you can. This is to celebrate the end of our auction, which is ending today. So if you still haven't participated and want to put in a last-minute bid before the auction ends at 1, you can also do that in Goddard after the service. Also, after the service, we have Representative, or Congresswoman, Kirsten Engel here with us. Yes, welcome, thank you. And after this service, Kirsten will be talking to anybody who is in her current district or in the new congressional, the U.S. Congressional District 6 for Arizona. So if you know that you're in that district and have some questions, please stay after. We are by no means endorsing Kirsten, we cannot do that as a nonprofit organization, but we are encouraging you to engage in the democratic process and discern who you're going to vote for in our upcoming congressional election. One last announcement is that next Sunday, right after service, in person and on YouTube, we will, or it might be on Zoom, somehow virtually, we will be having a meeting about the update on the construction we're planning for this corner of the building for the new HVAC and the bathrooms. So if you'd like to come see an update on that or hear an update on that, ask any questions of our architect, Bob Vint, please plan to stay after service next week. And our music this morning is Kindred Spirits. Bo and Sandy Ongley are 2/3 of that band, are members here, and we are so glad that they are here with us. Welcome, welcome, everyone. We are so glad you are here.
I've waited so long for this time to come. Now it's coming near. Just a few more days to toil through, and freedom will be here. Been away so long, the time seemed fine, but another month I could not last. I'm a prisoner of time, and I can't find no rhyme to the way I'm living today. I just long to be free and never to see these endless skies of gray. Yesterday will fly and tomorrow will drag, while I cope with now. Someday I'll see so I must accept the present as is. And each moment can be lived in bliss. I'm a prisoner of time, and I can't find no rhyme to the way I'm living today. I just long to be free and never to see these endless skies of gray. I've waited so long, I've waited so long, I've waited so long, I've waited so
Amen. We can just end there, right? Our words for a call to worship this morning come from Reverend Hannah Robertsville Nave, called A Protest and a Party. People sometimes ask, is pride a protest or a party? And the answer, of course, is yes. And why not? Why not rejoice as we resist, dance as we demand change, celebrate as we create community that delights in all of who we are? So bring all of that with you this morning. Bring your policy demands, bring your glitter, bring your Supreme Court broken heart, bring your rainbow socks, bring the emptiness you feel for our siblings gone too soon. Bring your Gloria Estefan remix, bring your tender hope for change, bring your most garnish eyeshadow, bring your spirit tattered and battered by a world that seems insistent on choosing fear and hate. Gather up all these things and bring them here to a place where we don't have to shoulder these burdens or celebrate these joys alone. Come, let us worship together.
Good morning. My name is Wendy Gordon Weeks. I'm your worship associate this morning. Thank you. Will everyone please join me in our chalice lighting words by Reverend Katie Romano Graffini. May the flame of this chalice, the symbol of our faith, connect us to all who have come before us, all who are with us in body and spirit, and all who have yet to come into being. May it serve as a reminder of our unity and connection across all time and space. Now, if you have a chalice or a candle at home, please light it now as we light our chalice here in Holland.
And will you rise in body and spirit with us and sing hymn number 188? The band is going to lead us. Come, come, whoever you are. We gonna?
Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again, come. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again, come.
Split right down the middle.
Come, come, whoever you are.
Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come, 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 whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come. Come yet again, come.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Jamili Omar, and I'm the Director of Lifespan Faith Development. I'm so excited for so many new faces today and online. Today, we're going to hear a story that is about the love between a child and his grandmother, appropriately named Abuela. There are very, very few words in this text, so if you're sitting next to somebody and they can't see, help them see what's on the screen. Let's go ahead and watch together. Julian is a Mermaid by Jessica Love. This is a boy named Julian, and this is his abuela, and those are some mermaids. Julian loves mermaids. Vámonos, mijo. This is our stop. Abuela, did you see the mermaids? I saw them, mijo. Abuela, I am also a mermaid. I'm going to take a bath. You be good. Julian has a good idea. Uh-oh. Come here, mijo. For me, abuela. For you, Julian. Where are we going? You'll see, says abuela. Mermaids, whispers Julian. Like you, mijo, let's join them. And they do. This story speaks to my heart of the joy of seeing a child who is unconditionally, unquestionably supported by his most trusted adult. Julian wonders in the middle of that story how it's going to go. What is Abuela going to say? Will he be accepted? And he is, without question. She finds a way not only to support him, but to help him find his community, and she goes with him. What a powerful moment. And I see before me a community that is also all in. We know there are kids in this world that don't have this support. For any reason, they are different from the adults in their lives, whether it's their gender identity, their sexual orientation, their neurodivergence, or any other reason. How could anyone ever tell them they were less than beautiful, whole, and holy? So today, for our joys and sorrows, I invite anyone who would like to share in our traditional bowl to go ahead and do that. I also have a specific ask for you in our Menti. If you choose to come up and do our bowl, we know that our earth is strong and it can hold all of our joys and our sorrows as we send them out into the world. For those of you here in the room or participating online who would like to participate with our Menti, I have a specific ask for you today. You are helping us create our prayer to send out into the world to these children and their families. In just a minute, our Menti is going to pop up on the screen. The number is 3028-4629. And here's the specific ask. Our invitation is for you to offer a blessing, a prayer, a wish, however it is framed in your mind and from your heart, out to these children and their families. In particular, today we name our trans kids, the LGB kids, the undocumented kids, those pressured by police, and all the kids who are just trying to be their authentic selves without oppression and discrimination. What is your blessing? What is your blessing for them? An easy way to write that, because Menti doesn't give you a whole lot of time or space, is to start with this format. May you, verb, do something, and some description. May you, verb, and a description. Here's an example. May you know you are always loved. May you remember we are here with you. May you feel our love over the miles. The Menti is open. I invite anyone who is here to go ahead and do that. If you need help, Reverend Bethany has her phone out and is happy to help you type that in. And online, menti.com, and the number is on the screen. May you know that all people are whole and holy. May you always be safe and loved. May you always be held in the arms of the universe. May you be welcome. May you be seen. May you remember that you are part of an interconnected web of love.
Feel loved and supported and able to be 100% yourself. May you find love for yourself within yourself. Find friends from all walks of life. I have, and it makes me so happy. May you find spaces and places where you can be your whole self. May you always be loved and supported by all of us in all you do. May you, dear children, feel loved and accepted and included in your family and school. Feel listened to and heard by your loved ones. May you find your community. They are out there. May you always feel the love of our UUCT community wherever your life takes you. May you be cloaked in love, walk in joy, and always know you matter and you are seen. Always know how awesome you are, and may you always know you are loved. May you find at least one person who accepts you completely. Walk an authentic path. May you know who you are and stand strong. Grow in peace, and may you have good company for a long life filled with purpose. For these prayers and blessings, those spoken aloud and those that remain in our hearts, may it be so. Blessed be, and amen.
The band is going to lead us again. You're welcome to try to sing along to this one. It's a lot of words, but if you know it, sing loud. Please rise in body or spirit.
We've cleared off the table, the leftovers saved, washed the dishes and put them away. I've told you a story, tucked you in tight, at the end of your knockabout day, as the moon sets its sail to carry you to sleep under the midnight sea. I will sing you a song no one's done to me. May it keep you good company. You can be anybody you want to be. You can love whoever you will. You can travel any country where your heart leads, and know I will love you still. You can live by yourself. You can gather friends around. You can lose one special one, and the only measure of your words and your deeds will be the love you leave behind when you're done. There are girls who grow up strong and bold, boys quiet and kind. Some race on ahead, some follow behind, some go in their own way and die. Some women love women, some men love men. You can dream on the days, never reach in the end of everything possible for you. Don't be rattled by names, by taunts and games, but seek out spirits true. If you give yourself the best part of yourself, they will give
Now, an offering will be collected to support the life and work of our congregation. If you are joining us on live stream, you can send a check to the office, give online at uuctucson.org/donate, or text 833-361-5796. If you are here in person, the offering baskets are by the patio doors if you would like to put your offering there either now or on the way out. What will you take from this place today? Will it be the message, the music? Will it be the inspirational words? And can you, leave a symbolic part of yourself? An offering of the willing will be accepted with love and reverence.
Up in a different time when mine was yours and yours was mine. Back then we learned our sandbox lessons well. When our leaders really had a dream for all of the poor and the in-between, and roads to heaven did lead to hell. But the times have changed and the message been changing too. Still it's pretty simple what we need to do. That's true. My mama and papa didn't raise no fool, and the words could be heard in my church and school. They said, love your neighbor, live by the golden rule. You can go spin it any old way. The day is night and night is day. You only fool yourself and nobody else. The truth remains no matter what you do or what the world believes is true. And what's inside your heart is only known to you, and you know who. Though the times have changed and the message been changing too, still it's pretty simple what we're needing to do. That's true. My mom and papa didn't raise no fool, and the words could be heard in my church and school that said, love your neighbor, live by the golden rule. You know my parents didn't raise no fool, and there's never a need to be mean or cruel. They said, love your neighbor, live by the golden rule. Love your neighbor, live by the golden rule. Love every neighbor, live by the golden rule. Love your neighbor, live by the golden rule. Love your neighbor, live by the golden rule. Love your neighbor, live by the golden
Thank you so much for that beautiful music. Our reading today comes from Reverend Otto O'Connor, called On a Holy Night. He writes, on a holy night in 1969, in an inn, also known as a bar, called the Stonewall Inn, a basement which had no running water nor safe fire exits, queer people of many kinds and colors danced together, for it was the only place where they were allowed to dance, at least permitted to, by the mafia who ran the inn. In those days, it was common for the police to frequent this inn, not to join in the dance, the underground celebration, but to send the dancers home and make arrests. When they would arrive, the lights would go on, the people would be lined up, and then all those in drag, all those who were trans, all those without proper identification, they were arrested and taken into custody. But on this holy night, that early morning of June 28th, the people said, "Not tonight." As they called them to line up, the trans women refused to go. And as the police began to beat and arrest them, and as the people spilled out from the bar onto the street, Christopher Street, a crowd grew to watch. And then, as trans women, lesbians, and gay men were getting arrested, a yell came from the crowd, "Gay power!" And as a trans woman was shoved, she shoved back, and the crowd began throwing bottles at the wagon. And suddenly, it erupted. For once, the people didn't line up. For once, the people said, "No more, we've had enough." It was almost as if, that night, being pulled out of the darkness of the underground at Stonewall Inn, one too many times, they said, "I'm ready to be seen." On this holy night, when the power of the oppressed rippled through the streets of New York, when queer people said, "No more," our world would never be the same. 53 years ago, it was illegal to be gay, to be trans, to dance and to love and to celebrate. And now, all these years later, here we are, celebrating at a church. Gay and straight together, queer and straight together, trans and cis together, all in this together. And so, as we hear these stories of life and love and defiance and celebration, let us also remember and pay tribute to our movement ancestors, many of them trans women of color who led the first rebellion that night. You see, Pride is a celebration of that anniversary, the anniversary of that riot at the Stonewall Inn in New York City, a holy night.
Thank you, Wendy. I went to seminary with Otto, so those words are particularly warm my heart. And thank you, Kindred Spirits. Your music this morning has been wonderful. You're helping us sing. Thank you. I want to tell you about my first Pride. I grew up in a fairly heteronormative family. Grew up with stories of a gay uncle somewhere in our lineage who had died early before there were any treatments for AIDS. My best friend growing up was clearly exploring their gender, looking back on it, but in the moment it was just, oh, they are they, right? They are being who they are. They were my best friends. My family was in one of the places where they clearly felt comfortable exploring their gender. In 3rd or 4th grade, I grew up in a Unitarian Universalist church. When I was in 3rd or 4th grade, Meg and Seal and their 4 kids became part of the congregation, and they became beloved. We beloved them. They were not only lesbian women themselves, but they were also LGBTQIA activists. And so we, through our love for them, our congregation became activists. That year we attended Boston Pride, and it was only a few tens of thousands. It wasn't these hundreds of thousands that Boston Pride was, but it was a party. It was absolutely a party. The energy was just buzzing. And I, being 8 or 9, was in the time, maybe some of us are still there, when I liked to just run around and collect all the free stuff at these events that my parents dragged me to, right? Get all the things, the bag, and then you put all the things in the bag. So I was running around, getting all the free things from all the people offering them. And then across the crowd, I catch the eye of this really tall woman, dressed fabulously. And she catches my eye and slowly walks over to me and hands down to little me, because I was always pretty short. Little me the prize swag of the event, a keychain. She must have known I was collecting keychains, I thought. I thought she kind of like could tell, but I put it in my bag, ran away, and remembered the face of that woman who gave me the keychain. And that was how I brought home my first condom. A condom on a keychain. It never made its way to my collection of keychains in my room. Someone, maybe me, I don't remember, but someone put it in that basket of random stuff that lives on our kitchen counters. Some of you have that. And it stayed there long past its expiration date. Probably until my parents moved out of the house, long expired, no longer intended for its original purpose, but serving instead as a reminder of pride. As pride has been corporatized, we have lost some of the history of that day, that movement. The neat and tidy story is that pride started as Stonewall, right? And it's a lovely story, a lovely origin story, but it's not quite complete as most stories are. Stonewall was a pivotal event which captured media attention, and that was part of what helped it become this origin story and result in what is now the parades, the celebrations. But what we honor, remember, and celebrate at Pride started well before Stonewall. In those years leading up to Pride, there were similar riots and demonstrations at public gathering places for queer folk around the country. The stories I'm telling now, offering to you, are inspired by Hazel Newlevant's piece on the nib. And if you want the full piece, go to our email this morning. You can link it there. Cooper Donuts, a donut shop frequented by local queer sex workers and other queer folk, was invaded again by the police. When the police attempted to arrest 5 customers, and that day in May 1959, a riot erupted in the name of queer justice. John Recchi, who the police had attempted to arrest but escaped in the melee that night, wrote about his experience in his 1963 novel, City of Night. In Philadelphia, Dewey's was a lunch counter and late-night coffee house, which served openly queer people for decades. In April 1965, Dewey's started refusing service to any queer-presenting persons, and customers began to protest this policy with the support of a Janus Society, a local queer organization. 3 teenagers staged a sit-in and were arrested, making Dewey's one of the first acts of civil disobedience protesting anti-trans discrimination. A week later, another sit-in took place with no arrests, and Dewey's stopped enacting its anti-queer policies. Jean Compton's cafeteria was a place where trans women in the Tenderloin of San Francisco would regularly hang out. Like Stonewall and Cooper Donuts and Dewey's, this was a place that the cops had been known to go in and arrest people for being trans and or queer. In August 1966, police tried to arrest a trans woman who resisted by throwing coffee in their faces. A riot against injustice broke out, which resulted in public officials in San Francisco listening to their constituents and getting them things they needed, like IDs, public programs to protect sex workers, anti-discrimination laws, and more. Stonewall happened 3 years after that event in San Francisco in June 1969. But it happened in the midst of this countrywide organizing at Cooper Donuts and Dewey's and Jean Compton's and Stonewall and many other places. The first modern pride at Stonewall was a riot. Not the first riot for queer justice, but one among a long lineage of people who resisted state violence against their bodies. One event in a long lineage of queer ancestors who knew who they were and resisted. Because there have always been gay and lesbian and bisexual and queer and trans folks, right? Always. There have always been trans and gender non-binary and agender people. There have always been asexual and aromantic, pansexual people, and more. To say otherwise is to suggest, which we don't, to suggest that gender identity and sexual orientation are somehow taught or learned rather than simply who we are. Just because the history that we hear so much has left some people out doesn't mean that those people weren't there. Long before those riots and demonstrations in the 1950s and 60s, there was Lucy Hicks Anderson, among others, but I want to tell you Lucy's story today. I learned about her from a colleague on Facebook this week. The colleague is Reverend Catherine Buck-Clarenbach. Here is Lucy's story. Lucy Hicks Anderson, who lived from 1886 to 1954, was assigned male at birth, but was adamant that she was a girl from an early age. Luckily for Lucy, her parents and doctors fully supported her gender transition by the time she started school. Her early life was spent happily. She got married, became a renowned chef, preparing dinner parties for the area's elite. After divorcing her husband, she made a living operating a brothel where she also sold liquor during Prohibition. She was able to get away with these illegal activities thanks to her reputation as a socialite. In fact, the one time she was arrested for selling liquor, a friend bailed her out because he needed her help for the dinner party he was hosting that night. In 1944, she married her second husband, a soldier named Reuben Anderson. The next year, trouble began when a sailor visited her brothel and contracted an STI, leading to an outbreak in the US Navy. Lucy and all the women working in the brothel were legally required to undergo a medical examination. The exam revealed that Lucy was a transgender woman, and she was charged with perjury for registering as female on her marriage license and put on trial. Her most famous quote from that trial is, "I defy any doctor in the world to prove that I am not a woman." She was found guilty and sentenced to 10 years probation. The federal government was not satisfied with probation, and because they no longer recognized the validity of the Andersons' marriage, sent both Lucy and Reuben to prison for Lucy having, quote, fraudulently collected money allotted to soldiers' wives. When in prison, Lucy was forced to wear male clothes. After their release, the couple moved to Los Angeles, where they lived happily until Lucy's death. Today, Lucy is regarded as one of the earliest known African-American transgender people. Pride is not just a remembrance of one night at Stonewall, but a remembrance of all of the queer ancestors who've come before us. It is about remembering those ancestors who protested not only police violence, but also who protested society's violence against their personhood. And this violence, we know, persists. And so, because it persists, alongside this pride we have, I want to also call us to have some rage. Pride was and still is a riot, a protest, a demonstration. And my hope for this Pride Month, and Pride Month when it comes to Tucson in October, and all months, is that we can grow a prideful rage in us. Because queer and trans kids are still dying and being victimized. According to a 2019 study by the Trevor Project, trans kids are 5 times more likely to have attempted to take their own life in the past year, twice as likely to be considering that possibility, and twice as likely to be clinically depressed than their cisgender peers. They are also 3 times as likely to have experienced sexual violence, 5 times as likely to have been threatened with a weapon at school in the past year, and 4 times as likely to feel unsafe going to school in the past month. On top of that, as you've likely heard, recent legislation in Texas is seeking to classify helping one's child seek gender-affirming care, potentially life-saving care, as child abuse. This legislation was blocked by a federal judge on Friday, as you might know, but the fact that this law was passed in a state legislature in our country uncovers the blatant transphobia still in our midst. Prideful rage. And that's just the kids. Today is the 6th anniversary of the Pulse nightclub massacre. That was 6 years ago, and the same state of Florida, now simply saying gay is being legislated. In our country, trans women are twice as likely to die as cisgender men and 3 times as likely to die as cisgender women due to lack of appropriate and accessible health care. Hate crimes against transgender, queer, and gender non-binary people are still too frequent. Trans women of color, particularly Black and Indigenous women, are being murdered and missing at alarming rates. Prideful rage. And another possibility looming is the federal rights we do have for LGBTQIA plus persons, like freedom to marry or some non-discrimination. Those federal rights could begin to fall if the decision on Roe v. Wade places a heavy weight on the ability of states to determine their own laws. There could be that ripple effect, right? Rights that have been in the making could literally be taken away by homophobic and transphobic legislation. Prideful rage. We must have pride because there is too much shame in this world. And we must too have rage because there is too little justice for our queer siblings. Earlier this morning, you contributed to a communal prayer, your blessings for the Julians and the Lucys of the world, those people who queer culture, who challenges cis-hetero norms simply by their existence. My hope is that those blessings that you wrote, those blessings that you carry, can become the fuel for your pride and for your rage, because we need both. And the root of both must come from the conviction, which is in our principles, that every person, every being has inherent worth and dignity, and we treat them as such. The writer Bell Hooks once wrote, "There can be no love without justice, and there can be no pride without rage." So friends, please, love, have pride, counteract shame. It's so important. And also grow that rage in the injustice happening all around us and direct that rage to legislation, to action, to loving your neighbor as they would like to be loved, that golden platinum rule. Remember that our faith calls us to affirm the inherent dignity of all people. If today you can't figure out the pronouns, or you don't quite understand the new terminology, or you still can't quite get beyond the binary of gender, we can figure that out along the way. Today is just one more moment in queer history when rights are being drawn back and violence is far too high. Lives, literal lives, are on the line. And in this moment, may we be called to do whatever it takes to affirm that all people are whole and holy, not only with thoughts and words, but through our actions. May you take this blessing of inherent worthiness with you out into the world. Let a prideful rage fuel you. You are a blessing. Your blessings can change and save lives. Go in peace with love and justice on your hearts, always. And we are going to sing again. I think many of you will know this. Please rise in body and spirit and sing with us. We are a gentle, angry people.
We are a gentle, angry people, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are a gentle, angry people, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are a justice-seeking people.
you stay gentle. May you get angry and stay angry. May you channel this into action. Go out into the world with love and justice for all you meet. Go in peace, friends. And have a seat.
Will you please join me in saying our words of chalice extinguishing from Reverend Amy Zucker Morgenstern? When we take fire from our chalice, it does not become less, it becomes more. And so we extinguish our chalice, but we take its light and warmth with us, multiplying their power by all of our lives and sharing it with the world.
I've been waiting for this day to come when the world can learn to live as one. You might think that's much too hard to do, but it starts right here with me and you. Me and you, we're not so different. Me and you, we're much the same. Me and you, want to be happy. Me and you, don't want pain. Me and you, want the sunshine and don't like too much rain. Me and you, we're not so different. We're much the same. And I've been waiting for the day to come when the world can learn to live as one. You might think that's much too hard to do. Well, it starts right here with me and you. Me and you, we're not so different. Me and you, we're much the same. Me and you, want a world that's peaceful. Me and you, not one that's gone insane. Me and you, wanna love who we wanna love and to have our family safe. Me and you, we're not so different. Me and you, we're much the same. And I've been waiting for the day to come when the world can learn to live in love. You might think that's much too hard to do. Well, it starts right here with me and you. Everyone, I've been waiting for the day to come where the world can learn to live as love. You might think that's much too hard to do. Well, it starts right here with me and you. It starts right here with me and you. Me and you. Me and you. It's